Starting your Lock or natural hair journey is oh so rewarding, but can be extremely stressful when you start to consider what products to use. If that's you, then look no further. Locklicious is a Black-owned company that has created an all-natural product line for locked and loose natural crowns. The Locklicious team works hard to ensure that their products are free of parabens, phthalates, sulfates, PEG, synthetics, and other toxic chemicals you find in other products. Best of all, the products are lightweight and will not leave residue or cause buildup. Go to locklicious.com to start treating your crown like royalty.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're here today with Melissa McKinnes. She is the mother of Danye Jones. Now, we reported on the story about a month or so ago, if I'm not mistaken, that the picture was on social media. I could not believe it. I thought someone was playing a joke. And to find out it was actually real. You know, we cover those stories many times on our platform, so-called suicides by police. And this is one of the parents who's dealing with this right now. And it's not a suicide. I stated in my video. But Melissa, thank you for joining us on the show today.
Okay.
So Melissa, could you tell us just a little bit about yourself? We heard that you was an activist for a long time. What got you into activism?
My reasoning, is that when I would look at the parents in pain because their children were, or our brothers, or mainly children, were taken away horribly, and the murderers would get away each and every time. But with me, I can feel their pain because of the love that I have for my children, and that's always been the reasoning, that I would be out all day, all night, every day, sometimes sleeping out there in Ferguson. It was because I knew that, I have my babies, and that's who I also see myself fighting for, and I knew that it would kill me. I always said it would kill me if I was their parent, so that drove me.
So when Danye was a little boy and he saw you doing activism, and as he grew up, was he getting more connected with that, or he was just more in tune of being a strong Black man?
He was in tune with being a strong Black man coming from a strong Black woman who raised 3 children alone. And he would come out, he would be out there marching or with me sometimes, him and my other son and daughter. And but they would worry about me, all the time. But he would pick it up, and he just started being very boisterous, about how he felt. He always said he loved his queens, his Black queens, and he wanted to keep the people conscious and aware of what was going on. So Danye was his just came just for his love for his people, his love for his mom and his family. It just came that way with Danye.
Now, prior to what happened to Danye, have you ever received any threats?
Yes, a few times.
Now, the people who threatened you, what were they telling you?
So after I did the front line and fought during the Ferguson movement, I went on to fight during the non-indictment and the Jason Stockley thing. That's the murder of Anthony Lamar Smith, another unarmed Black man. So
What about the threats?
Oh, yeah.
What were they telling you?
So when I led to do that, I was even more out in the open, in the front. I organized a lot of the actions, the shutdowns. I would get, and I always had my bullhorn. And one time this person said that they were that close, that I really need to watch myself because they were that close behind me. They could have got me then. And one time they said that somebody's gonna shove that bullhorn down my nigger throat. Other times they were outside my house. They would sit outside my house. Each time the side and back windows were tinted. That happened like 6-7 times. And when my husband or Danye would go out and walk towards the car, they would speed off.
So they would sit in front of your home, terrorizing you. Who were they? Were they white males, females? Who were they?
We always seen white males, and you could see because the front wasn't tinted all the way, and they would sit down, but you can still see, the color. They were white males. Each time, we've never seen any females or, from what we've seen, any black, men or women at all.
So all the times they were showing up in front of your home, did you guys let law enforcement know?
No. For one, I'm known for fighting against law enforcement. Calling the police for me is like, unless it's someone's, I'm not calling 911 unless someone is like Danye, that situation. Other than that, it's no. We believed in protecting ourselves around here, and we just thought that we could do that.
So the last threat that you received, how long ago was that prior to Danye?
Maybe 3 weeks or so.
So they threatened you 3 weeks prior, and what did they say in that threat?
No, it was the stalking.
Oh, they were stalking you.
Yeah. They went from the threats to actually people coming and sitting outside of our home.
On our program all the time, I speak about, the white supremacist terrorists, because that's what they are. They're terrorizing you, and they get away with it in a society for the color of their skin, and just call it what it is. And just to hear, what you're telling me is just, it angers me and infuriates me, because, no person should be terrorized. Because if it had been your sons going in front of some white woman's house and sitting in front of there and constantly stalking, harassing her, you'd have had about 80 police outside taking your son, probably killing your sons first before they even do anything else. But since they're white males, they can do whatever the hell they want.
Right.
So you fast forward to the 3 weeks later. So you actually found him, right?
I found my son.
You found your son. Okay, so you were just looking for him that day. You say, hey, where would he go? Or
first off, that night I had woke up because I had a crazy nightmare. And I had woke up, my body was hurting, especially my hands, like feeling of like someone, like a squeezing, like it was sore. So I woke up and I like holding my hands, and I was like, my body hurts. So I called my husband at work, and I said, I just had a nightmare or something like I've never had before. I said, that just scared me, like really. And he said, like what? I said, my body hurts so bad, especially my hand. And he said, do you want me to come there? And I said, no. I said, I'm okay, just stay on the phone with me. So we stayed on the phone and we talked. But the whole time I felt weird. I felt disturbed. And we was just trying to figure out what that meant. So he came over, and when he got off, and we walked to the back door because we always take the dogs out. And I looked downstairs and I said, look, the lights on. And I'm like, Danye, no, he don't leave the lights on. So I said, Danye, he didn't say anything. So my husband went downstairs and he came back up. He said, Danye's not down there. I'm like, it's like 4 o'clock in the morning. I said, you sure? And he said, I don't see him. So I'm like, let me go down here. Maybe he's on the other side. So I went down there and went to the other side, and I didn't see him. Then I looked back on the side where he sleeps, and by his sleeping area, it was a brick. And I'm like, what is he doing with a brick?
So you had a brick?
So I went and picked the brick up. It was a big one. And then that's when I'm like, I'm really getting nervous. I'm like, what's going on? So I picked the brick up and ran up the steps and took it out through the sun porch to the backyard. Opened the door and set the brick down. And then I looked up and I see a chair. It was far from the tree, but it was a chair. And I'm looking, I'm like, what they been doing in this yard? And then I looked over and looked up, and then I saw Danye. Now, so I walked closer because I thought I was having a dream, and I was like trying to wake myself up. So I kept shaking my head, and I kept doing like this, like trying to focus in. That's when I saw his face, and I screamed his name. And so I turned around to get my brother and my husband to help me, and all I remember after that is falling to the ground. And I couldn't hear my husband when he came back in, because they ran out, came back in, and I couldn't hear what he was saying, but I was looking at his face, and his face looked like he saw a ghost or something. But I kept asking him, was that my baby? And he was doing.
So after seeing your son, and after realizing all of that within the inside as a mother, did you feel, and I'm just hearing you because and it's hard for me to even listen to you personally. It's very, very hard for me because I'm literally feeling everything that you're saying, literally. Someone eventually called the police over. Did the police know anything about those people that were stalking, even the threat that was commissioned to you 3 weeks prior?
No.
No. So the police quickly stated that it was a suicide without even a medical examiner looking.
Right.
Why do you think they did that?
For one, they stood out there laughing the whole time.
Wait. Laughing?
Yes.
Laughing about what?
I don't know. I said, so that's how y'all do when my son's out there laying dead? They were laughing in the front and the back. My neighbors saw it, I saw it, and my brother. And they wouldn't let me look back out I tried to look out the first time. And they had 2 black officers stay in the house with me, and they wouldn't let me look out the window during the time that they were out there with Danye. I didn't understand that. Like, I'm in my house. I just want to see what y'all doing to my baby. But they wouldn't let me. So, something they thought was funny. that really got me. And after being out there with them for a while, they came in and told us that it's suicide, whatever, because they didn't see any signs of struggle, and because there was a chair. That was their only reasoning for that, was because there was a chair and because there were no signs of struggle.
And what police department is this?
St. Louis County. And the detective, that was the laughing detective, he gave us his business card, and it said St. Louis Airport Police. This is not St. Louis Airport jurisdiction. So when my brother and them finally got in contact with that, they had been calling that number because the sheet that was used didn't come from this house, and the knots in it, you know, they were what they call Navy knots.
Mm-hmm.
So my brother and my husband, they wanted to find out where's the sheet, you know.
So the sheet didn't come from your home, and it said Navy knots.
Mm-hmm.
If it didn't come from your home and wasn't Navy knots, did they investigate his bank account to see maybe he went to a Walmart to buy anything?
They didn't take his phone.
Didn't investigate nothing, no phone calls.
They didn't take his phone.
They didn't look into his social media history. Maybe he was nothing.
Nothing.
They just automatically say, "Oh, well, you know, he killed himself."
When they came back a couple weeks later, that's what they based it off of again. The lieutenant and the sergeant came and said, we had an attorney on the phone, and she said, "So what are you basing it off of?" He said, "Because there were no signs of struggle, and there was a chair. Mind you, the chair wasn't even by his body. Whoever staged that was all messed up. They did it all horribly. They Navy knots again. My son knows nothing. He was never in any type of military, militia, Boy Scouts, any of that. The knot on his face, his pants rolled down outward to his ankles, and his fist balled up. He was trying to fight. They left him out there frozen, you know.
And if you study the history of lynchings in America, what we seen in that picture was no different than any person that was lynched. And for the St. Louis County Police to say anything otherwise, to me, they knew exactly who did it, in my opinion, and they covered for them. Mm-hmm. Because what is so funny at the scene of a crime? In the outside and in the back, everybody's laughing like it's a joke.
They told us, well, they gave us back his clothes. His shirt had blood splatter on it. They gave us back his clothes and kept the sheet. But they changed it from suicide to investigation. But they gave us back his clothes. They didn't take the chair. They didn't do fingerprinting on the chair.
So basically telling me, this is crazy. So they give you the clothes back, even though that's part of an investigation, or you could run for forensics, etc. They don't test the chair, but they make sure to keep the sheet.
The sheet. They said that we would get it back in 6 to 8 weeks.
And okay, so
today is 9 weeks.
9 weeks. And what was the purpose of taking the sheet again? Because I'm sorry, like just that, and you don't keep nothing else. Now, have you heard from the medical examiner?
No.
So they didn't even determine cause of death.
No.
But so the police is putting out something from just themselves saying it's a suicide without a medical examiner saying the cause of death.
Yes, but remind you, here's another one. My son, the only one I have left, he was at a a Pizza Hut around the corner from my home. 5 officers pulled him over and started searching his car. There was a young lady parked next to them. They told her to leave the lot. She said, "No, I'm good." Thank God she said, "No, I'm good." She said, "No, I'm good." They walked up to my son and they asked him, "So did y'all find out who did that to Danye?" My son was by himself during that time. They also asked my son, "Who has custody of your son?"
So
if it was suicide, why did they ask him, did we find out who did that to Danye?
Correct. So basically, they're telling themselves.
And intimidating. They trying to intimidate him because he was the one who had his video of Danye's body went viral. You know, it came from his page, you know, so that's their way of intimidating, you know. And they trying to come after another one. And what they expected, for one, they didn't expect for my brother to take that picture, because the 911 operator told us to take his body down.
What?
The 911 operator told us to take his body down. Before they took him down, my brother took the pictures because he knew something went right. He took the pictures. If we ain't had them pictures, we probably would have just said, you know what, since they said suicide, I guess that's all we had to go on. We don't have any proof, even though to the family, you know, and the ones that loved him, that don't even sound right, because everything that he had going for himself and how good he was doing. But the pictures that he took, they wasn't expecting for that to happen. So right now, I think what it is they're getting their stories together. The cover up, they're getting that cover up together. But they expected for me to just, because they knew how I felt about my family, my children, they expected me to just go into some type of depressed mode and not fight and all that. But I'm doing the opposite. We're going to have a private autopsy done, having private investigation and all that. Knowing that my son wouldn't do that to himself, because for one, Danye, they don't know the conversations that we have as a family, how close we are. He wouldn't, because he don't believe in suicide. He said it. He doesn't believe in a black man, period, killing himself. We too strong for it. Always said that. 2, Danye was an entrepreneur, 24 years old. Started his own company, real estate investor. And he was doing very well in it, very well, with plans to take it from here and also take it to Africa to help out the communities there. 3, all he wanted to do, and he's always said it, is to take care of his mom and his grandma, and to bring his brother and sister with him. He wanted them to work with him, you know, within his company. He was doing too well. He was too excited. That night that it happened, I went downstairs. Danye was writing his notes like he normally do, taking his notes and listening to this real estate channel on YouTube. So you go from there to doing that. Wrong person. Yeah, they chose the wrong one.
Well, based off everything that you're telling me, and you know your son very, very well, and it sounded like he was going to be, you know, very, very accomplished young man. You're 24 years old, really talking about companies and branching out to Africa is definitely an awesome thing. And like I said, I don't believe, and I didn't believe from the beginning that your son would do something like that. Basically, now I'm hearing how it was staged, because it was completely staged. I mean, you had these white supremacist terrorists outside your home, okay? And they were looking for an opportunity to do that. And I believe law enforcement know exactly who did it, because they were laughing about it, thought it was a joke. They're telling the media it's a suicide, etc. Without even a medical examiner's report even coming in. I'm just recapping. They give you his clothes back. They don't do no forensics on the chair. But they want to make sure to take the sheet back. And you know, these white supremacists, they're so full of the devil that they usually keep souvenirs like that. And then one of them cops or whoever probably got that hanging up in their house somewhere. I mean, I cover this stuff, and I know the evil and depravity, and that's why I usually say that they are the devil that the Bible speaks of. I say that all the time. So, do you feel safe staying here?
No. The only reason why we're still here is so that the investigators that we get will have access to this house. It's hard. I don't sleep. I keep seeing them. I can't look out the back anymore. I keep seeing them in the tree. It's hard being here in this house, you know? I see him in the basement. I see him walking. I hear him talking to me sometimes.
I completely understand. Me personally, I couldn't be here. If it was my son, I could not be here because I know just being here could even just be tormenting you. Just in a lot of ways, on top of dealing with that extra situation you're dealing with them out there. They're just very, very evil. And, you know, we've been knowing that this area has a strong white supremacist conclave in this area. You know, a lot of people think, oh, it's just the South. But you have a special breed of racism up here in the North. So the community aspect, because a lot of people talk about, you know, we should be doing things in the community. You say you need protection. That's for sure. You need protection, especially if they're still kind of riding around. Because earlier you told me about that they've been having cars still ride up and down.
My son, he was going into his trunk like 2 weeks ago, and we watch each other as we go, you know, outdoors. And so I was standing in my garage watching him. He was parked in front of my house on the street, and there was a car that pulled up on him slow, and then they cut their lights out. And then as soon as I stuck my head out and called his name, they hurried up and sped off.
Let me ask you a question. Do you believe in practicing your Second Amendment rights?
Yes.
Okay. Because based off of what I'm hearing, you're being terrorized, and the police is definitely, in my opinion, involved with it some way, somehow. And practicing your Second Amendment rights and self-defense is your American right. And it is something that we all should do as African Americans, because no matter what person in this country, should be terrorized by anyone, and for the police to be going on with it. Now, has the FBI got wind of any of this?
I don't know. He's the seventh one from Ferguson. That's been mysteriously either murdered or committed suicide. That's what they say, but he's the seventh one.
Because Darren Seals the last time, correct?
Darren Seals, yes.
I remember that case.
Me and Darren was very close. I'm still very close to his family. With his case, that wasn't even properly investigated because we went back up there after it all, and there were still shell casings and stuff out there on the ground where he was killed. They're not investigating. They can care less. And why would they even investigate themselves anyway?
So do you feel that the Department of Justice needs to get involved with what's going on around here in the FBI?
If they really care. My issue is I want to know, I would like to know, we would like to know why, I know why, but why did they do him like that? Why did they shame him like that, yeah. And I know they're laughing. I know they're laughing at me crying to see us hurting. But they don't understand is, what they don't understand is that the more I cry, the more I want to fight, the more angry I get. Whether whether I'm scared here or not, they took my baby, he came from me, and there's no mama taking his laying down. That's what I live to do right now, to fight for my son, and that's what I'm gonna do, So I always said before, like I said before, we feel that he was set up by someone that he partially trusted, they were used, and they allowed themselves to be used. So whether they knew what was going to happen or not, they knew it couldn't have been good. So they're responsible too.
So you feeling in your heart that there was a co-conspirator that he knew?
Yes. To get him out this house. Yes.
Okay, so this co-conspirator, do you think they're African American?
Yes.
Was there anybody recent in his life that you didn't know of? You say, who is this person? Like, who you talking to? Is it anybody you feel?
No. My son, he doesn't trust people too well. And the ones that he did somewhat trust, he had stopped messing with them.
Mm-hmm.
And he told me partially why they were spreading rumors about him and stuff. And because he wouldn't do what they wanted him to do, they were upset with him.
Mm-hmm.
So I told him to be careful, And yeah.
That would surprise me to say the least, because there have been many people that will side in our community against us with these white supremacists. They've done it many, many times before. Mm-hmm. And it just sickens me to the core. I'm not gonna lie with you. I'm so sick to my stomach with this whole situation, because I can't get it out of my ear what you said about the laughing. The laughing is what gets me more than anything. You're laughing at a mother's pain, at a family's pain. You give them back. I mean, just what you supposed to do with the clothes. I mean, like, they are the most evil and sloppy people at the same time. Mm-hmm. Sloppy. Mm-hmm. I mean, if you're gonna do some evil and dirt, I mean, you would think you'd be a little bit more smarter than that. Mm-hmm. But obviously they're very ignorant. Mm-hmm. So the good thing about all of this is that your story is definitely be told. The world hear your story, and we will make by doing that, you're not alone. There's many people all over the country that can help. Maybe they didn't even know you needed that kind of help. Maybe they didn't even know you don't feel safe here. Because me personally, you need 24/7 protection. It's just my opinion. Especially if they're coming around like that. They need to know somebody's going to be around here and they can't come to this house. And if someone in a group, let's say maybe whatever group that would like to do that, would you be open to that if it came from the community?
Oh, probably so. Yes. Because at this point, everybody knows where I live now.
Mm-hmm.
Like as I'm talking to you, I see him, and it's not good. I see his body frozen in the tree. Wait.
Have you spoken to possibly a psychologist?
No.
Because what you're going through, you really need to talk to maybe a psychologist, because you can't keep that bottled up and dealing with that pain. It's a constant, and then pain comes in waves like that, and you still have ongoing things happening. Have you considered talking to a psychologist?
No. My brother, he told me that I should have auditing done. I was looking into trying that, but I just it sounds crazy, but I want to keep this pain until it's over. This pain is what keeps me going, It sounds crazy. I don't want to have any good feelings about these people. I don't want to forget. I don't want to forget,
But you'll never forget, and I'll never in my million years till you forgive them for anything. You have a right to be angry, to be indignant in your anger. You have a right, because just what I'm hearing, I would never forgive evil just on a good day. I don't expect you to forgive evil.
Yeah. This type of pain, this type of hurt, like, I wouldn't wish on anybody, it interrupts your whole life, I hate seeing my babies like this. I hate seeing my family like this, I watch how it affects each and every one of them, and I hate it. Yeah, I hate that. That type of evil. I hate that it even exists. That type of evil. He had such a good heart. Yeah. And I'm not just saying that because he's my son. He was so caring. He was so respectful. He would not allow a woman to open the door herself or carry bags. He was always yes sir, yes ma'am, all that. My son, hard worker. He didn't want to be out here robbing folks or, he said, I want my own business so I can bring my family on. So I know that this brother that they took out, Danye, they're suffering. They're suffering right now. But that's just not enough for me.
But just me personally, I pray the curse of God fall upon those people and everyone in their family. I pray that happen to them. It needs to happen. That's just how I feel about that. I just don't forgive evil like that. But one thing is different about you versus everybody else. It's been many parents that experience what you have experienced, and I've covered a lot of it just on the news side. But the difference is your story is going out. We getting the full details because the mainstream media is not reporting what you're saying. They're not saying any of that. I didn't even know that because most people just in general would be outraged of hearing that. So that's what makes you different, and you got a strength that I know it's coming from God, because it's like I feel your pain but I also see your strength at the same time, and it's kind of mixed into one, and I understand what you're saying, that pain fuels you. I get what you're saying. I'm just thinking just as myself, it's like my mind would be all over the place, and I just know how I can get. But Melissa, you are a warrior, and I know some good gonna come out of this. At the end of the day, some good. People all over the world, they expect them to reach out. What can people do, or if people can contact you, if possible? I mean, of course, you respond to who you choose to respond to. Can they contact you, like maybe to help you out from the community, or because some people ask, well, how can I help her? I mean, you guys have maybe a GoFundMe. I mean, what routes do you have? Because you really need a lot of help.
Yes, we have the GoFundMe, and we're raising money to. We're gonna need a legal team, a real legal team, like some bulldogs. We're gonna need to have his body exhumed. It cannot remain here. His body will have to be it'll have to be shipped to another state. And however many times we need to do all this with a private investigator. Yeah. So we have a GoFundMe. It's in memory of Danye Jones. And they can follow my page. It's Melissa McKinnes. Everything's on there. That whole page that's the only reason why I'm on social media. That's all you'll see is what I'm doing for him and the fight that we're doing for him. We go out every Saturday to canvas, and we pass out flyers. We go to barbershops, we go to malls to tell his story. And this is every Saturday. So either donate or just, if you're here, join us on Saturdays. This is what we do. This is my life right now, What it has done, though, is my family, we're unbreakable. So what they did was they made us stronger. Exactly the opposite of what they tried to do, what they came to do. May not be a huge army, but we're strong. So these tears, this crying that you see, you'll see me do that every now and then, but that's my strength. That's my strength. That's Danye. That's him fighting through me. So that's something that we're gonna continue for Danye.
And we need, everyone to come together and unify to help out, because when someone's suffering in our community, all of us are suffering. I don't care how you believe, whether you're a Christian or Muslim or you're not. I mean, everyone needs to come together on this, because it can happen to any one of us at any time. I understand that. As long as we're living in this country, yes, we're dealing with a lot of white supremacist oppression. Yes. And the police is definitely part of that oppression, yes, that happens to us daily. So we definitely want to make sure people know about the GoFundMe, because yes, it's going to take money to do so. And people in the community, that I know there's lawyers that probably even in this state that do pro bono work. Because a lot of times, if they can do anything, or even what amount of money do they need, is that also in the GoFundMe about to pay for a legal team?
A legal team. I have to move.
Yes, yes.
I gotta move.
Yes, you have to.
And I didn't speak on that. I can't stay here forever. Yeah, whatever they can do to help is accepted. Just help us. We can't allow this to be swept under the rug like the rest of them. That's what they're expecting us to allow them to just sweep this under the rug and just accept what they said it is, when we know it's not. We have people spreading rumors out there, but we're not even going to pay attention to that, because we know what it is and what it isn't. But that's all we need is positive energy and assistance. Just getting this out. Yeah.
And what we're gonna do, we're gonna personally take it upon ourselves to keep promoting your GoFundMe. I'm gonna make sure of it, because we need to come together and we need to help. It's just the bottom line. You can't do this by yourself, because you're literally fighting a system that's completely against you. We both know that. So we definitely gonna do our part, the least that we can do. And there's many great people that watch us all over the world. So we're gonna definitely try to keep up, keep in touch. For sure, because we care about what's with your family. We all family here. I mean, this is who we are. So Melissa, just for me, just not even just as a journalism wise, but just as a father, I pray that strength continue with you, and I want Danye's situation to be the change that we need, because we can't keep allowing this to happen.
Right.
It's we're coming up on 400 years now.
Right.
And that has to stop.
Yes.
And you may be the woman and the mom who makes a difference.
Hopefully, I'm praying. Yeah, I'm praying for not just Danye, but for the rest of them, all the other ones that what we call stranger fruit. Strange fruit, just they have names, they have stories, and it wasn't suicide. So we have to expose them. Yeah, we can't allow them to scare us anymore. We have to do this for our children and our brothers and all of us. This is not like a kumbaya moment. This is a real moment, So if I can get out this bed and fight, everybody else can. Do whatever you can do. It's whatever. It's accepted. Whatever you do, we accepting it. So yeah.
Thank you for watching, and make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel and check out the African Diaspora News Channel app in the Google Play and Apple App Store.